going to easily find a taxi man who will say, yes, come on board and transfer the money to me or anything else in that format. And you won't have problems. So a lot of them said, if you don't have money, don't board my vehicle. You're not going to the market and then you meet the one who is selling pepper or who's selling rice and said, I'm going to transfer. Though there were some of them who also agreed to that, but there are very many who said, no, we need to have our money.
That is the problem. I don't know the brand of thing that Clark was doing.
I don't know the brand of thing he was doing.
All I know is that Clark said he needed cash to do something and then he couldn't get. He had to go and buy.
It's all right. Well, Supreme Court says it will obey court ruling, says federal government. You find that there. Then Naira scarcity. I've been spending 20,000 Naira for 1 week. This is from Femi Adesina. Special advice on media and publicity to President Muhammadu Buhari. Femi Adesina has revealed how he has been surviving amidst scarcity of new Naira notes in the country. Adesina, who in his this article titled Living on Shoestring Budget, published on Thursday, noted that he has been spending the sum of 20,000 Naira for 1 week. He advised Nigerians who attack banks, loot shops, and engage in civil disobedience to desist forthwith. Additionally, told Nigerians not to take laws into their hands, noting that with time, Naira will be surplus in the country. We left Abuja on January 23rd on a journey that would take us to Bauchi, Lagos, Senegal, Katsina, Kano, and Jigawa states. Return was January 31st in the evening hours. Since January 31st was then the terminal date for key denominations of the Naira to be legal tender, I didn't want to be like the unwise cripple who had been told the war was approaching, but who stayed put in the same spot. So I packed everything I had, every dime, and sent it to the bank. I didn't want my modest funds to become something fit only for the museum. Central Bank of Nigeria later secured a 10 days extension of the deadline from President Muhammadu Buhari, which has now been further extended by the Supreme Court ruling. But it has not changed the fact that I have been spending the sum of 20,000 Naira for 1 week, and I'm still spending it. Shoestring budget. Yes, you're right. That's what it is. Major part of our duty to allowance had been paid in old currency, so I deposited it in my bank right in Katsina. I returned to Abuja almost in tabula rasa, empty. I thought it was just a matter of going to my bank and getting new currency notes. Who's I? Too optimistic. For 3 days, I operated with just 6,000 I had in my pocket. By Friday, it had shrunk to 2,500. What a huge war chest. You, a special advisor to the president of the most populous country in Africa, are you for real? Just 2,500? Well, those in government each as well and scratches hard. That is what some people don't know. The hen sweats, but his feathers make the sweat indiscernible. There was I on Friday, worth only 2,500 in new notes, both home and abroad. I called my banker, told him my plight, and he first laughed as if laughter was going out of fashion. After seeing that I was serious, he said the best he could do was get 20,000 Naira for me through the automated teller machine, which was his own entitlement for the day. Well, beggars can be choosers, and half bread, as they say, is better than none. I sent my driver to collect the money and promptly canceled all engagement I had lined up for the weekend. When you stay in your house watching football and making yourself happy, you need not to spend much after all. But the first challenge had to be confronted. The car tank was almost at empty. It would take about 15,000 to fill it up. What to do? Buy 8,000 worth of fuel, which gave half tank. We are making progress. The remaining 12,000, one held in a tight fist. Not even an ant could touch it. Fortunately, my dear mother was an Ijebu woman, and people from Ijebu are said to be thrifty and know how to operate on a shoestring. From Friday till Wednesday, I became very gentle by force, stretching 12,000 as far as I could. Fortunately, there was enough food at home. If there wasn't, I would drink gari and granuts. And why not? That was what the times called for. Pragmatism. No pain, no gain. It was my own contribution to the success of a policy that was bound to do our country good. All right, I think maybe he stretched it a bit there. I knew he was not going to drink gari and granuts. I think he did have enough in his house that would probably take him for as long as he needed to, without having to go take more money from the bank. But the truth is that some of us need to adjust our lifestyle.
That's the truth, and it's always required.
You need to adjust your lifestyle.
It
would have been easier for me to give money out to certain people that I usually will. Maybe, people who manned certain places and I had access through there. Perhaps I wanted to give them something, or there was someone who was asking me, I'm here, I just don't have money to get to this place. You want to help out. It got to a point where, everybody knows everybody's had of cash. I said, I really would have wanted to help with this, but there is no money at the moment. Even though at that time I still had about 6,000 naira new mint. Well, I was holding in case of any emergencies
Of
that
course.
I'll need to have to spend cash for myself.
Is it that? Do you detest money yourself?
So I was holding on to that. But the truth was that was not my lifestyle. I probably would have given it out before then. And then I really did not go to the market. I didn't go to the market. And this is because I had a choice. There are other people who do not have that choice.
Thank you
I
very
had a
much.
choice to go to a supermarket.
I hope Additional is listening to you.
I had a choice. I could go to the supermarket and use my ATM and buy pepper at the supermarket, even though I know the price will be outrageous. If I'm looking at the 5 seeds that they were sending for me, or 5 pieces of pepper that they were selling for me at maybe 250 or 350, and I'll say in the market I'll probably get this for 50 naira. But I overlooked that because, well, this is what is available for now, and I could afford it. So I don't like the fact that Adeshina, I mean, really, for me, it just smacks of insensitivity. I wouldn't be in government, the position that Adeshina occupies, and speak of these things in this manner and said, I'll be spending 20,000. Of course you can spend 20,000. Even you could spend 20,000 in the next 3 weeks because you have access to other means of payment. In fact, there are people who know you as Adeshina, Femi Adeshina, and will give to you free and say, when you have, bring.
Simple. I don't know. You see, Anne, when Adeshina is talking this way, I remember vividly when Nigerians were expressing their disappointment over the hunger that gradually is selling on them. Adeshina said they were welling wellers.
Yes.
Now, after this, he's telling us that he's spending 20,000 for 1 week. He's been spending that, and he also couldn't control himself, and then gave himself out and said that enough food is in the house. And a man or woman that has children and is not in this particular high position where he can make a lot of money, he doesn't have much food at home. They are dwelling on what they can get each day. And now you go for any job, there is no way to pay you. How will you feel? He's telling Nigerians.
Yes.
No, I don't understand. I think they should be
It's his own sacrifice. You can't, that's your sacrifice. You can't use that as a yardstick for which everybody must sacrifice to. Like I said, I can do that. But that doesn't mean I don't understand if other people say we can't survive in that. And then begin to look for ways where their lives will be better. I thought that as special assistant to the president on media, if he needed to speak on these matters, he wants to speak on how the policy will change lives, how he knows things are very difficult, how he has empathy, how he has empathy for them at this moment, and that if things are just allowed, that the president has already said, give me 10 days, let's hold on to that, he believes that things are in the works to ensure life gets better after 10 days. Not tell us how you're able to live your life better because you can spend 20,000 in 1 week.
Well, it's unfortunate because I don't want to continue commenting on this because it could make one annoyed. I tell you, because of the way they talk, it will be as if they are maybe something cut out from heaven. They are humans. Additional should understand that he said he has an empty tank. He could take it to somewhere and it will be filled for him. Even if they are saying, just pay us when you have cash. Because they know he has that cash.
Yeah, exactly.
He's credit worthy already. We are talking about Nigerians that are suffering. What they can eat is whatever they get from their daily activity. And I'm saying if you go, you don't blame the bank, you don't blame CBN. Let it be that you are blaming the wind. You can't get that money.
You can't get that money. You can't. All right. Well, let's take another story. And let's hope that this will make Emmanuel upset too. I don't want to talk on that. It's making me angry. Okay, this story here says just a moment. Fuel naira scarcity. No Nigerian should campaign for APC, but they George. Says here that former Deputy National Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Olabode George yesterday accused the All Progressives Congress APC of throwing Nigeria into a state of formlessness, urging Nigerians not to campaign for the APC. George, however, tackled the PDP leadership and its presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar of a conspiracy of silence over the fuel and naira scarcity. The PDP leader, who addressed newsmen at his Lugard office in Lagos, said, without mincing words or trying to raise an alarm, the global golden rule called order, a legal and constitutional process of conformity with law or decorum, seems to have taken a flight from Nigeria's political, economic and social lives. Due to this anomaly, which is a deviation from regulation or what is regarded as normal, there seems to be a graveyard silence while Nigeria is bedeviled on all fronts. Something strange or unusual happens in the polity every day, leading to the socio-economic turmoil permeating our entire landscape. It is grieving to see Nigeria slowly sliding into a state of perpetual hopelessness. In all honesty, I cannot decipher the logic of quietness against the cliff edge which the APC government has plunged the Nigerian state into, where there seems to be no opposing views, calling the ruling government to stop and rethink. Our parties, the PDP and others such as Labour Party, SDP and NNPP, seem to have concord with the present shenanigan. I wonder what hate, what evil, what madness will propel anyone of sane mind to plunge Nigeria into the present state of hopelessness, annihilation and abject suffering of the citizenry. At the same time, I see it as an absolute lunacy for anybody to campaign for APC or to contest on the platform of APC due to the state of formlessness the ruling party has thrown Nigeria into. Where is the presidential candidate of our party, the PDP, Atiku Abubakar? Where is Iocha? Are you the national chairman? How come the voice of the DG campaign council of the PDP has drowned in perpetual silence against the atrocities of the APC government with the presidential election just a few days away? Why have they allowed their voices to be drowned in conspirational silence? Where are the opposition political parties? What does the graveyard silence portend for Nigeria? It seems to me that Nigerians' right to good has been consigned to the dustbin by the political class. Well, at least let me speak for Atiku in this case here quickly. Let me just remind Bole George that Atiku has spoken on this matter, and he did say that it was a good policy. Atiku, as a matter of fact, said that they should not rescind it, as a lot of people, a lot of politicians were banking on the monies they had to buy votes or to malign the elections. I think in one of the last stories or pieces on him, he was talking about how this election will not be determined by the bullion, was it bullion vans or bullion naira?
It should be bullion van.
Labour Party has spoken on that. And Labour Party was asking Nigerians to be patient and that soon it will be Uhuru. So I don't know what Bode George is talking about here. Because if it's in this case, they have spoken on this naira scarcity issue.
Well, Anne, it's very possible he doesn't have up to 20,000 to be spending in a week. And that will make him very much annoyed. And
maybe Femi Adesina is now talking about how he has 20,000.
Yes. So what I want to tell Bode George is, for me, I think at this
time,
time,
graveyard silence.
Yet whatever brand of silence is attributing to the PDP, maybe machinery as those fighting for Atiku to become president. All I want to tell him is that if he believes in PDP from Atiku down, he should now maintain his composure. And then just be waiting on the sideline, doing all that he should do for the PDP, which is his political party. In fact, Nigerians have eyes like Bode George. He is not the only one that can understand the situation in the country. And so if the situation worries Nigerians very enormously the way he's talking about it, they will not vote the APC. But if they eventually vote the APC, there is nothing himself or any other person can do about it.
All right, go that there.
That is Nigeria.
You know, but I think that he's got people with him. He can use that platform and talk about it and wonder why everybody else is not talking about the situation we found ourselves. But I think that when you check out the campaigns of some of these political parties, on their train, they've talked about the mess that the APC has taken us into. They've spoken about how they are the solution, the Nigerians' desire. I think that if we're asking for a kind of reaction, maybe we'll be looking at NLC. They're the ones who will do something, different, maybe down tools or protest or stuff like that. But, PDP too can lead a protest. After all, the APC did one during Jonathan's tenure.
And it's not that easy for the PDP.
Why is it not that easy for the PDP?
Thank you. You see, the PDP may be saying that things have got worse. It wasn't also rosy when they were in office. So when you know that, you see, at these 5 fingers, 2 of them, you have something that is very smelly on 2 of them. Then another person is coming with smellier things that can be deposited on 3 fingers and then project to you, also to be inhaling. I don't know whatever you did to bury.
I wonder, remember.
And then
I'm thinking of stinky fingers.
What you will only do is to keep quiet. After all, you have 2 that is oozing out its own stench. So who is worse than here? So you won't talk. That is the situation the PDP and APC fight itself. Even if APC is
what kind of ulcer do you have in your fingers?
I don't know, but Annie, I'm just trying to use it to create the picture of the situation they occupy.
Yeah.
If the APC has worsened the situation, it started from the PDP. And so it may not have all that mind to say, no, APC, you have done this. It's the same thing you taught them.
Wow.
That is it.
All right, let's get on with it. Naira redesign. Kaduna beggars attain informal POS operator status. Destitute in Kaduna who rely on begging for survival say they have been turned into POS operators as a result of the prevailing cash squeeze. Explaining their newly found status to a correspondent of the News Agency of Nigeria, the beggar said that most people now gave them old Naira notes and demand for change in return for a reward. The situation is so desperate, especially with most banks allowing the withdrawal of not more than 1,000 or 2,000 naira, the POS approaches imposing high charges. There are 2 categories of people that patronize us, namely those who pretend to give us alms and those who openly request for favor. The first category will give you either 200 or 500 naira notes, forfeit part of it as alms, and request that the change be given back to him in lower denominations of hundreds, 50, 200s, and 10. The second category will openly request for change in lower denominations and offer you some percentage as a reward. This is what Usman Ali, a destitute, narrated. Another destitute, Kabiru Musa, confirmed to NAN that such economic transactions between beggars and members of the public was actually flourishing in Kaduna. He said from time immemorial, assistance to beggars has always been in lower Naira denominations, and so the beggars were hardly in short of such monies. A female destitute, Mariam Baba, who was confronted by NAN for comments on her informal POS status, busted in wild laughter, just as he also confirmed the development. A mother of 2, she said because of her adolescent kids, people had been generous in giving her alms, and that most times she has enough lower denominations to grant requests for change from people. This new business is promising, and how we wish it will continue. You see, there are some Nigerians who are benefiting from this, Emmanuel.
No, of course, every situation must have beneficiaries and those who indeed it will hit. I tell you, but for beggars,
I don't know how much their supply can last.
I don't know, Annie. I don't even know how much they are making. That I can even help somebody.
Oh, they're making a lot.
Yes. Okay. It's not
Some
a job.
of them are making...
It's not a job I can fancy to do.
I know you won't, Emmanuel. You won't. Some of them have found their niche in that, and they are flourishing. Some are building houses.
The way I describe this. Okay, maybe it happens, maybe Kaduna.
I'm telling you, I said some are building houses, some have bought cars.
With begging?
Yes, Emmanuel. Yes.
It's all right. No, I don't argue on what I don't know. I don't argue at all.
Okay.
What I don't know, I don't argue. But I'm
so
just thinking.
Tell you that if you sit in a vantage spot, the area you've discovered for yourself is a vantage area, that you could be making up to 15,000 a day.
If it's something that is sustained,
No, imagine
15.
averaging, because you could make more on some days. It's a vantage spot. So those who give you 1,000, so those who come and drop 2,000, those who give you 500, those who give 200, and it's a spot where there's a lot of activity and a lot of big people who are patronizing. I don't know, not patronizing, or who just want to give you alms. You find out that you're making between 15 to 20.
It's all right.
And if you calculate that by 30 days.
And it's much money.
You're hitting 500.
It's much money.
I'm telling you, I said, I know of a beggar. He has been in this particular spot in Abuja for a long period. Now, there was an issue that happened, and then we hadn't seen him for a long while. And so those of us who usually give him alms, we went to that area. We're like, what happened to, we called his name because he had a name, and we called him. And they said, that his wife's had issues. And so he had to travel to go and sort it out. And we were like, where? He said he had to travel home. He's from Kebbi. So he traveled to Kebbi to sort the issues out. So and then we just shrugged it off. Then much later we saw him. So we're like, we heard you had issues with your wife. What happened? He didn't want to say. So another beggar there said, yes, the other wife was complaining that they didn't buy her a car.
The beggar is lucrative.
Okay.
But of course,
the other wife was complaining they didn't buy the car, and then he quickly turned and looked at the person who said it and was asking that's not the truth. Why are you lying? But I mean, he didn't want them to say it because you won't give him the money you were giving before.
Yes.
And the other one wanted to quickly say it because he was like, let them know your secret that you have money. So I was just dumbfounded. I was just like, is that for real? When we started talking about that, then someone said, "Oh, this should not shock you. I'll take you somewhere." That's when we got home and I was talking about this. Someone said, "Oh, I'll take you somewhere else." There's another part of Abuja than Jabi. There's a village in that place called Jabi Village, and said, "I'll take you here. I'll show you a beggar. I'll show you the beggar, and I'll show you the beggar's house." And she did. She showed me the beggar's house. Then that beggar's house, he had built, a story building, well gated.
From the process of begging.
He has been begging, and he says his wives and kids are in there. So, I mean, it can be lucrative. This is not to tell people to go sit on the street and beg now, no. But my point here is that...
It doesn't have the allure to...
No, I mean, please, it doesn't. My point here, I mean, Emmanuel, we've heard several times where women go and rent children and put them out there to beg money. Yeah, they make money. But the point here is that the beggars in Kaduna have become informal POS operators. And they're saying, this should continue. But I'm also wondering, well, your 100 nairas and your 200, your 100 nairas and your 50 nairas that you've had from the past, how many do you have?
You will pack it to become very high before you can make a reasonable amount.
How much do you have for this to continue and you enjoy it? Sooner than later, it will all be over. But that's for Kaduna State anyways. Let's move on to something else. Petrol shortage. Ipman begins lifting at 172 naira per litre. Says here that independent marketers yesterday commenced lifting of petrol at an ex-depot price of 172 naira per litre from the Ijegun Egba tank farm in Lagos. This was part of measures targeted at tackling the nation's petrol shortage, as the independent marketers were expected to deliver the product at the government-regulated price to motorists and other users. Speaking at the commencement of lifting in Lagos yesterday, the chairman of the association, Mr. Adebowale Olujumi, said the operators will continue delivery to the marketers in order to reduce the pain on Nigerians. He said, we will, like everyone, to know that petrol, which Nigerians have been suffering from in the last few months, is available and is sold at the government-regulated price in all depots in Ijegun. As of today, the NNPC has delivered over 150 million litres to us this month. Some vessels are currently discharging at the jetty. Nigerians can trust us to serve them. Going forward, we expect that the product will be sold at retail end of the business at affordable prices, which the government has fixed for each area where Nigeria can get the product at the right pump price and in all the filling stations across the country. He said the daily cost of hiring a daughter vessel used for discharging the product had risen in recent times, thus affecting operations. As of the beginning of 2021, the cost was between $21,000 to $24,000 a day, and suddenly due to Russia-Ukraine war, everything around the world fully skyrocketed. So at some point, depot owners and other marketers had to pay $85,000 a day, amounting to about $850,000 for 10 days. In some cases, we go into demurrage that may require us to pay $1.2 million because some of the agencies, including the Nigerian Ports Authority and the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency fees, are charged in dollars. thus culminating high export price. Why are they charging in dollars? NIMASA and PA, Nigerian Ports Authority.
I don't know. You see, when we start from domestically, we should be using Naira.
I don't understand.
But agencies of government are charging, some of them, according to...
Yes, at least he says because agencies, including Nigerian Ports Authority, the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA's fees are charged in dollars.
The reason is unknown. Because there is no reason at all that will convince me that they should charge in dollars here in Nigeria.
Well, I mean, maybe the reason will be because of the fluctuating strength of the Naira. So, I mean, you know that for international price, this thing, imagine they said, look, the sister, what they call it? Just a moment, something sister now, we read it, right? The daughter vessel, not sister now. The daughter vessel that is used for discharging the product. Yeah. They said they hire that at the cost of $21,000 to $24,000 a day. Now, I want to believe an international price is pegged like that, $21,000. Now, when you come into Nigerian waters, and Nigerian's Naira is at 750 today, tomorrow is at 400, and back and forth, you want to stick with something that is stable.
Of course.
So regardless what's going on.
It should be the reason.
Yes, I think that's the only reason. So we know it's $21,000, it's $21,000. Whether we've got Emefiele's policies somersaulting or not, this is what we're charging. It will be the only reason that makes sense there. Unfortunately, I think that is because of our own inabilities to stabilize the Naira.
That, of course, is the reason. No other thing. Because the Americans did not come and destroy the Naira. No. You see, well, the issue,
the
let's
real
look
issue,
at Eastman.
172 Naira per litre that they've began lifting at 172. So maybe by the time it gets to pump price, it should be 189. 189.
That is, if they are not greedy. If not, then they can go. I think the official price they gave them now is what? Is it 179 or 1?
I think it's 189.
189?
I think so, yeah.
Then I was talking about 180. So they'll still go maybe 190. No, 190 is too small now.
No, man, they can't go to 190.
Okay.
I used to think it was 179 too myself. But I knew some filling stations that were approved by government were selling at 189. So I just assumed that, okay, good, because of all that's going on, they've increased it to 189.
I thought it was 179.
Quietly. Well, if they're lifting at 172 per litre, I mean, I could look at, give or take, another 10 to 15 Naira. On top of that. So if you're looking at 15 Naira, looking at 187 Naira per litre.
Okay.
But my issue here is, this is in Ijegun Egba, Tang Farm in Lagos. Is that going to affect us here in River State?
No. There's no time anyone has affected River State. They must always fix their own. I think, I can't remember the guest that was here. He said in Delta they were buying 120 something.
Yes.
While it was up to 350 and all that.
Here in River State.
I don't understand.
That worry on was just scary. Anyways, Peter Obi is not revolutionary. That's what Boala is saying.
It's good, it's not too.
Say PDP can't be hurt by obedience. A spokesman of the People's Democratic Party PDP presidential campaign council, Daniel Boala, said the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, is not revolutionary enough to threaten PDP's chances of winning the 2023 elections. Boala made this assertion in an interview on Channel's television program, The Verdict, on Thursday. According to Boala, Obi stands no chance of winning the February's presidential election despite enjoying the followership of young people. He said Peter Obi is a third force. But Peter Obi is not revolutionary. Peter Obi cashed into a movement, and agitation by young people who feel they need a different path, he said. Boala said Obi is not revolutionary enough, adding that he only cashed in on a movement that can't win a state in northern Nigeria. Polls giving him victory are 419 polls, he said. The PDP spokesman added, if he had gotten a ticket, he would not have gone there. That's Labour Party. Even after he left, he did not go to Labour Party. He was scouting for a party. Boala claimed Obi is not a member of the Labour and is running as an independent candidate. The PDP chieftain maintained that Obi cannot win a state in the northern region. Let me tell you today, by my discipline of law, Peter Obi, as we speak today, is running as an independent candidate. He is not a member of the Labour Party. Boala noted that at the time Obi joined the Labour Party, the party had already submitted its list of members to the Independent National Electoral Commission. He said if you go to INEC now and you ask for the register, you cannot see the name of Peter Obi as an LP member. And the Electoral Act says it is only a political party that will sponsor a candidate. Okay.
Well, I wouldn't know.
I thought recently the appeal court quashed one case where they wanted to disqualify
to
Peter.
Remove him.
All right, then.
You see, Boala may be on his own. Let him also, with the authority of the law, look at where he's standing, whether he's not on his own alone. But all I know is that it is good indeed for Nigerians not to have a revolutionary person, because if Obi were so revolutionary the way he's talking about, maybe he'll start throwing tantrums that could also excite them to maybe annoyance and all that. They start in the way they always do, start looking for a way to spoil this and that in elections. But I think it will be, you see, I have said it severally. If you have a case, you go to court to face that case and you lose, you will not sleep there. You will come back to your house. So if Obi, as he's going to contest, if he fails, he will certainly come back to his house and maybe continue later. If Boala will sleep in court if he loses case, maybe he's the first person to start it. What I know is that this election, for now, those who are normal humans, nobody knows who is going to win.
All right, Boala says he can't win a single
You see, in the north,
can't.
I know is a Herculean, not certainly will mount a Herculean task for Obi, but a state, okay, I think Dati is from Kaduna.
Who? Boala?
Dati. Is he from Kaduna State? I think so. From
Bauchi.
Bauchi? No.
I think so. But go ahead, I'll find out.
Wherever. But he may not also be able to win wherever his deputy is from in the north. That's the truth. Because if everybody is
Kaduna North.
Oh, Kaduna, good. So with El-Rufai and all that is galvanizing for Tinubu, I doubt if Obi will win, and especially that he can only control his own side of Kaduna. But whatever be the case, like I said, if Obi loses, it won't amount to death to him.
Right.
Just like any other presidential candidate. Whoever wins, fine. Whoever loses,
some is
won't
death
die.
sentence for them.
Oh, okay. Whoever allows politics to be his life, that one will be for the person.
That's death sentence. Partisan lecturers won't be returning coalition officers. This is what INEC is saying. The Independent National Election Commission will not accept nomination of university lecturers who are card-carrying members or had participated in partisan politics or convicted of electoral malpractice as returning and state coalition officers in the forthcoming polls. Chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, made this in Abuja at the meeting with Nigerian University's vice chancellors. He says if you have been convicted of exam malpractice, of electoral malpractice as a returning or state coalition officer, you can't. You can't. If, in fact, in any form, not just as returning or state coalition officer, if you've been convicted of electoral malpractice or you have participated in partisan politics or you're a card-carrying member of any political party, then you cannot be a returning or coalition officer. My point is that do we know all of them? Do we know all of them who are card-carrying members? I mean, you could have somebody who is a VC and he's a closet PDP member.
Yes.
You could have someone who is a VC and he's a closet APC member or Labour or NNPP. And they're not going to tell you that this is who we are.
And I think this is where the philosophy of forget whatever is written on the car, or join the car to wherever you are going to. They've made the pronouncement. Let us not argue about it because I don't know how they will know. Absolutely. But then the truth is that that's what they have said. Let us see it happen. That's all. because I just don't know how they will know myself.
Reactions as federal government offers 3 weeks closure of universities nationwide. The announcement by the National Universities Commission directing universities to shut down for the 2023 general elections has been met by varying reactions. Recall that there were concerns in some quarters that students, particularly those who had registered and collected their permanent voter cards, might not be able to exercise their civil responsibilities if they remain within the university walls while the election commences. To this end, the Independent National Electoral Commission said it does not have the powers to shut down the institutions. However, the announcement on Thursday by the NUC has put a stop to the initial fears that the voting students' populace may be disenfranchised. According to NUC, universities nationwide will shut down from February 22nd to March 14th, 2023 to allow for participation in both presidential, National Assembly, and scheduled for February 25th, and governorship, State House of Assemblies scheduled for March 11th elections. Meanwhile, Nigerians in their numbers have expressed divergent views on the development. Some hailed the NUC, others bashed the commission for not shutting down the institutions earlier to allow for participation in the voter registration exercise and collection of PVCs.
Well, and one cannot get everything one needs. The one they have done, let them be held for it, if it's in a positive direction. You remember there was one particular day we came here, we gathered here, 3 guests and myself. I said, yes, federal authorities need to shut down university, if you remember. And all the guests, I was just on my own. They said, no need. And if you must indeed try and struggle to bring equity to bear on anything you are going to do, you look at it the right way. As they were calling, if not, you disenfranchise some students. Shut it down. Let them have, everybody has every right to go and vote and all that. But you know that it's not all that will go and vote. That one is a different case. But you have no strings to say that it's this one that is drawing you back.
If I'm not voting, are you not disenfranchising me from going ahead with my education?
No, Annie, see.
I don't understand.
So wait. The school is not owned by an individual. It is the desire of government that will prevail here. Government wants...
No, I'm using the word you said. You said if they had gone ahead, they would have disenfranchised those who were students from voting.
Yeah, no, because I think it was Obi that raised this, that the students should be allowed to come and vote.
Yes.
If not, see, I always like it, just like Buhari is the president now. You are saying he didn't do this one right. Let him resign. No, let him not resign, please. Let him do all his best until the end, so that in the end we also go into archives and say, Buhari, you did this, you did that, all that. But if he leaves, you say, if you had allowed me, I would have finished this thing. I said, in 3 months, he said, does it concern you? Do you know how I have mapped out plans? So the best way is, now that Obi is calling, our people said, instead of somebody, because a man does not see where to put his hand and rest, that's why you see a man will bend down and then hold his knees. It's not the best way, because even while you are resting, the pain is also a thing you cannot forget. Yeah. So let them close schools. I think it's for either 2 months or whatever.
3 weeks.
Okay, 3 weeks. Thank you very much. It did not even reach a month. Now, let them go.
Those of us who don't want to vote, you've disenfranchised us. We wanted to go ahead with our education. We've been at home for 8 months, want to get it sorted out and move on.
And
so
you
for
can
3
stay
weeks,
at home and continue until when they come back, you go back.
That's the point. So if we're going to bring in the word disenfranchisement here, there are those you're also disenfranchising by shutting down the schools.
But a man must obey the rules of the society.
Exactly. So one of that could have been the schools are open for those who want to remain. Schools will continue even if you want to go and vote. What probably would have said there'll be no exams set for this period.
Well, for me, I think...
so those of us who still want to have lectures, maybe there'll be no exam, so you not feel, I'm going to go and vote, I'll miss that exam. For this period, we will not set examinations for anybody. There'll be no tests that you're missing or anything. But we'll continue to lecture the students.
You see, Annie, the premium that Nigeria places on election is high.
And that's it. You can see the premium they place on education. See where we are.
No, already education is known to have taken the last position of premium since there is anyone. They find remove premium from education. But what I'm only saying is that for equity, they want everybody to focus on the election. And if you say that by nature, by choice, you are not going to vote, it's a different case.
Different case. And in Nigeria, it is still choice. There's no compulsion in voting.
No, there is none. There is none.
There's none. I could have gotten my PVC and decide, look, I've looked at all you lot, and none of you is impressive enough. So anybody who votes anybody and that person becomes president, I will go ahead with that person. It's okay. You're my president for the period where you're going to be sworn in. I'm not going to be bothered with voting anyone in because I don't see any of you as competent enough. So whoever comes in, well, fine. And then you force me now because I'm in school and I said I want to study. I want to become a doctor. A good doctor.
And I do not see force.
It's forced. You shut it down.
Because
it's forced.
You see, if you are studying any school, know that you are at the mercy of government decision any day.
Anyways, I'm glad that these students will have the opportunity to vote. You've got that reactions, but I'm not glad that those who wanted to study have been shut out. Reactions as federal government orders 3-week closure of universities nationwide. That's in the Vanguard. Now open the phone lines now. AY though is saying 2023 is critical time for Nigerian youths. Nollywood actor and comedian Ayo Mayakun, popularly known as AY, has said Nigerian youths will change the narrative of the leaders in government through their votes because 2023 is a critical time. Yes. The entertainment artist said the young generation has been deceived in the past that their votes were not important, but he affirmed that youths will troop out to vote massively in the general election scheduled for February 25th and March 11th. I mean, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking for those who have experienced voter apathy to look at themselves in the mirror and said, I've done this several times. You know, I've stayed back when I should have carried on with this exercise because I've believed that votes don't count. For once, I'm going to try and see if votes do count. Let me see if there's a difference. I mean, Emmanuel, you could be sold a story for so long, you believe it. At some point, you say, well, let me test this theory. I want Nigerian youths to believe this is testing the theory. Let me go out there and see if indeed my vote does count. So when we begin to do coalition of all the votes cast out of 70-something million that have their PVCs, you'll be looking at 23 million votes in general. Or you'll be looking at, that's the figures we see. And you're wondering if 70-something million people came out before to pick up PVCs and do have their PVCs. Why is that a paltry number that's coming out to vote to determine who the president will be, who will be your senator, who will be your governor? I want to see the youth say, look, at least they said about 20-something plus million have it now.
And that is why the representatives behave like those who do not represent anybody. Because they are saying, you did not vote for me.
So
you reluctantly, a few of you.
Just few of you. So I'll do anyhow. I'll do anyhow. You will see anyhow. All right, so these are the stories that we've got here. Let me just quickly open the phone lines and then take your reaction. It's already 11:36. The numbers to dial are 0810-951-0951 or 0817-000951. Those are the numbers to dial. New Naira confusion deepens as CBN deadline ends today. I don't know where there's confusion.
Well, there have been confusion.
That's in the Punch. There's no confusion. The government says they are going to align with the Supreme Court.
No, yes, they have said so now today, perhaps yesterday or so, because they were saying they will insist. And I was just keenly waiting to see what they will do when the Supreme Court has given such order. And the order does not violate anything at the legal code of Nigeria. And you said you will insist. Go ahead. Let's set that dangerous precedent. Let's see. You know, when somebody is trying to throw something at others, you don't know that a mistake could be made. The thing comes back, it's on your body. That is it.
All right. Also from the PDP, from the Punch newspaper, Buhari orders setting up of transition panel on Valentine's Day. The President, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, has approved the establishment of a Presidential Transition Council to oversee the 2023 transition program. He's also signed Executive Order Number 14 of 2023 on the facilitation and management of presidential transition. So from one president to the next, it's going to be somewhat a seamless move now to be headed by the Secretary of the of the federal government.
Well, it's a good one, but will it be sustained?
Because I think it should be sustained. There should be an institution.
It should be because it's a good thing. It makes it easy.
It makes it easy.
But what I'm saying is that another president may come in and then look at the whole thing and look for a way to tinker with it. It won't work again in that way, in the way it thinks that...
Maybe there can be a tinkering, Emmanuel. Of course, there should be a tinkering, but that you're going to remove that trend and say, we don't need a transition committee.
No, because it's needed by every president that is handing over to.
I think so.
So it should consider, but will it be?
Well, then, in the last issue we took in the Vanguard, which had to do with the shutting down of the schools, in the Punch it says, Pools, VCs, ASU disagree as federal government shuts varsities. The Academic Staff Union of Universities has condemned the directive of the National Universities Commission on the Committee of Vice Chancellors of Nigerian Universities that universities should be shut to enable students to participate in the forthcoming general elections. The NUC gave the directive in a letter on Tuesday, addressed the Vice Chancellors of all universities and directors of inter-university centers. It says here that as a result, however, in an interview with the Punch, National President ASU, Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, explained that universities had never been shut down because of elections, saying that the closure and opening of universities were the prerogative of universities' synods. All right, well, we'll leave that there. Let's get on to the phone lines now. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning. Hello, Mascot. Good morning.
My own elder brother. Okay, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mascot.
Thank you so much. I don't know why the president is in a hurry to set up transition committee when a president-elect has not so much. Is it that he's really in a hurry to leave us for up, or he's tired of all the vicissitudes and challenges of leadership? Because for me, I feel it is too stay in the day. And for I don't know. The last time I checked was the name of the APC until the last minute when Bola Tinubu chose a Muslim as his running mate. Then it became. Then I don't know what he's talking about P2B. He's not a member of Labour Party. I want to congratulate him for that P2B is an independent candidate. Because for me, this is the first time in the history of Nigeria that you have one single person raising the status quo, making a political party like Labour Party to become competitive and the devouring of the people. So somebody there should congratulate P2B for even achieving this feat, coming to this level. But for me, I know that with the anger on the land, with the frustration on the land, with the pain and anguish and the disdain of the people, that God willing, on the 25th of February, Peter Oji will emerge victorious as the president-elect of this country.
Okay,
thank you and God bless you.
We got your thoughts here. Thank you so much for calling in. Today 95.1 FM, good morning.
Good morning.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Bertram Abe. I'm speaking from Port Harcourt.
Veteran Ade, good to have you.
I've been listening to all the programs people are promoting.
Thank you.
The rigmarole of scarcity of forensic and all those things. One important thing I feel Nigerians have not insisted that should be done is that we should outlaw vote buying. Buying of votes should become a criminal offense so that we will do away with corruption. You are fighting corruption and you are installing government by corruption. It leads us nowhere.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, we're listening to you. We're listening.
Yeah, so we should do something to stop vote buying. Anything you are doing and you have not mentioned the ban of vote buying, the result, the votes don't count.
All right then. Okay.
And somebody is coming to lead us and he's giving us money to vote for him. I don't know what he's going there to achieve for us. That's my stand.
All right, then. Thank you so much, sir, for calling in. Today, 95.1 FM, good morning.
Good morning.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Comrade EUNS from Osiamu in Onega.
Great to have you, comrade. Go ahead.
Do I say aligning or agreeing with the Supreme Court order asking us to a kind of maintain status quo till 15? I think it is in the right direction. The federal government did well obeying that. But I know that CBN is an independent body, some sort of independent body. They can make policies and that policy work in the society. I want to say that on the that should be on the Wednesday, that's the 15th, when this hearing will be made. I know there will be issue of locus. The court do not have jurisdiction over this matter. And as from that moment, Nigerians will be in confusion. I don't know if CBN will be given an extension again, or it will just be on that 15th, automatically the old note will end. It will be a good thing for us, for this old note to end and this policy work. But remember, we are very close to election. One of the objectives of this change of note might be defeated. Now, let me add voice happen in Oshemole. You see, we should learn to play this politics quiet and void of violence. If you are going for a particular candidate, I think that should be you. Allow this other man to also tell us why we should go for the other candidate. There is no point shouting and moving down.
All right, then. Okay.
Everyone should shout down or act in a way to bring the other person down. Maybe one of the guys in there, then you see the other side of the other people, you see things happening that will bring down his government. You may not blame them because they are also trying to shout him down. So
all right, then.
we Nigerians,
we got your thoughts there.
Play politics quietly with love.
All right, then. Play politics quietly with love. He said, thank you so much. Today, 95.1 FM.
Good morning. How are you, Annie?
Good morning. Welcome to the show. Go ahead.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
We are talking about how they are talking about P2B. Let me tell them, when you look to these two men that are contesting, P2B is good one. Can you imagine this PDP National District chairman, when he wants to say that APC have failed Nigeria? Now, he's very shifted. He said that PDP have failed Nigeria. You see how God is showing these people. Now, look at what census people are saying, that they will go to Zambia forest to count census in Zambia forest. But those people that is Zambia forest are foreigners. Coming out from Zambia forest to kill the indigenous of the country called Nigeria. But now they are going, but army general, the people cannot get their house. They are not going to, they are afraid of Zambia forest, but they want to count census. They want to go to Zambia. See, let me tell them, all these things they are doing, we know their plan. Let me tell them, anything, and they have been telling you that we are different from what those things. See, look at what Mary is saying. They are abiding with what the court has said. But the court has said that let them release Nande Kano. They refuse. Malami and the Garubashu, all those men, they should release that man. They should release and go and tell your people. Tell them to release that man. Let him come and set our place for us. That man is a good man for us.
All right, then. Okay, we're hearing you. Yes, thank you so much. Today, 95.1 FM, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Manhani.
Good morning. What's your... Bright?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, Bright from Ogoniland.
Bright from Ogoniland, go ahead.
Yes, Annie, did I hear Olabode George talk about, is it another presidential candidate? Is it Atiku or who?
He spoke about Atiku, he spoke about Labour Party, he spoke about IU.
Labour Party, yeah. So Olabode George, is it the Olabode George we know? For 16 years, they exploited this country and built monumental corruption? Is that the Olabode George that is still talking? I don't know why Nigerian politicians are not ashamed of themselves. Olabode George should retire and close his mouth because they looted this country for 16 years and they could not do anything. Why is he still talking? I am angry when I hear people like this talk, and I'm very angry with him.
All right, then. We got your thoughts there. Yeah. Today, 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Annie, good morning.
Morning. What's your name?
Yes, okay, but good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Yes, I'm Godstein calling from the church.
Got time for me, Che? Go ahead.
Yes, Annie, the federal government telling the universities to shut down during the election time. For me, it's not a bad idea. That is a very good idea. Because if you can remember last time, ASU was on strike for 8 months. Just 3 weeks. It's not even a month. Jonathan, and most of the students are helping INEC to conduct the election. So, federal government telling them to shut down. I think they have to do it. And nobody knows what is going to happen. So, I would like, even assuming that I have the children, the grown-up children, I would like them to come back to the village or come back to the house and stay with me. Because nobody knows what is going to happen during this election. Do you understand? So, federal government telling them to shut down. They have to shut down. Do you understand? They should not behave like a tortoise that stay inside the pit toilet for years. The day they are going to bring it out, they start shouting that I beg you people should do and bring me out that the shit wants to, you know. So people should learn how to do the right thing. They have to do the right thing. Thank you. I still remain Godstein from Iche.
All right, Godstein from Iche. Thank you for calling in. Today, 95.1 FM. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Oh, good morning. Annie, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name?
Yes, Ogaima, good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Yes, I'm Dr. Chris from Port Harcourt.
Dr. Chris from Port Harcourt, good to have you.
Yes, this is the same lady I visited one time, the Golden Annie. A lady
yes.
is encyclopedia of knowledge. With an encyclopedia of knowledge. I described her that day as a woman whose sense of humor and reasoning is like Oba. Ogaima, you know what is Oba? How they tap it,
yes,
how they cover it. You keep opening it one
the
after
bride
the other.
price for my mom should be forgotten if I don't understand what Oba is.
That is how her knowledge is. Annie, I want to thank you and Ogai. My people are doing very well. And all other discussants, especially Chinwo, one Dr. Chinwo. I love him also. Well, Annie, the issue is, I think the students should be at home. Annie, I want to argue with you a little. Nobody is disenfranchising any student. It is our civic duty, and it's what we do once in 4 years. So if we are home for 3 weeks, there is nothing wrong about that. They should be close to their homes where they registered and vote. We need to change this country. Enough of all this. I filled my tank just about 20 minutes ago. I filled my tank with a 20-something thousand naira. How much did I buy? I was even lucky to buy 350. You know, we can't continue like this. The governors were crying, the money, went to court to ask ask the Supreme Court to stop this issue of, stopping ease of old notes. But they never talked about fuel. I will be suffering for fuel scarcity since last year. Please, students, let's stay at home. I will be in my house that day. I have my PVC, like one of the man would say, and I know my rights. And I'm going to cast my vote that day. There must be revolution through our PVC. These two old governments should go. APC and PDP should leave us alone. Let's see whether something new will happen. Nigeria needs a fresh breath. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chris. Thank you. Today, 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, Gift. Good morning. How is your Nogoa today?
Very fine. Oh, thank God for gift of life.
Fantastic. Go ahead.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Gift.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Concerning Body George, you will not understand where Body George is coming from. It's all about conspiracy theory. Yesterday, I read a piece from Delta State Commissioner. Do you know what he was saying concerning this matter? He was talking about, he's one of the spokespersons to the presidential candidate of PDP. He was kicking against one of their governors planning to join those 3 governors, which is Governor Yusuf Wike. He said it openly. that God bless these 3 states that went to Supreme Court to obtain this very restriction, temporary one in that matter. On the 15th, it will come up. And he was talking about PDP is not a party to that. Is it about APC that went to Supreme Court? We are talking about a governor of a state is the father of that state. I love the way Diri here or I hate him. He's my governor. He's the father of this state. His wife is the first mother and the first lady. And he was talking about we are not a party to that very movement. And I was just laughing when I was going through that piece. That is what we are talking about. We can raise this very alarm, first of all, before any other politician in this country. That the reason why Atiku is behaving this way, it is because 1 or 2 persons has promised him from that presidency, which is the cabal that people are talking about. They have 2 factions of the cabal. And the one that is doing this against Tinubu is that very cabal that is working with Atiku. And people should be careful. You are telling me one Fulani will be going out, another Fulani will take over. That is the conspiracy theory Olabode George is talking about. That is why you will not hear Atiku talking anything about this. Rather, what they are telling you, for once, President Buhari has done the right thing. If you want to talk about champions of vote buying and corruption, which of the names, if you wake up and somebody asks you, in PDP, we want to know those corrupt persons. I know the names of people we mention in this country. And you are sounding as if you're a sense that is a very welcome development. Please just extend the time for if it is a 1 week or 2 weeks. And that is not what Bode George is talking about. Condemn this policy. Talk about how Nigerians are going through hell. Because of few politicians, you want to punish 200 million. How many are they in terms of percentage? Then Dwala is attacking Obi. I'm not supporting Obi. I will not vote for him. But if you want to use the word